Hello and welcome. My name's Lainey and this is Big Girls Really Do Cry, and welcome to part 2 of my Q&A. So I'm going to get straight into it and get the first question. If you've watched the first half, I won't know because I'll have put them out in two. I won't know if anyone's watched the first half, but thanks if you did. um, so I'm going to get straight in with the questions. The first one is from Rebecca Turner. She said, "Is there anything you want to do if there are no restrictions?" No restrictions as in like the law, do you mean? Or no restrictions as in like within myself? I assume you mean within myself. Yeah, I'd like to do loads of things. I'd like to, because obviously I can't. I mean, I'd like to go to Wet and Wildfowl Park, which is just up the road. I'd like to go to the forest. I'd like to go and see birds of prey. I'd like to go right down to Roker Beach and go on the sand and have the sand in my feet again. I'd like to go along the pier. I'd like to visit loads of places all over the country. Scotland in particular, I'd like to go to York. I'd like to go and see all my friends who I've made online and visit where they live and take loads of photos everywhere. I like to go swimming. I'd like to go on holiday. I'd like to go to Harrington Park. I'd like to go and visit my brother and sister and my daughter and everyone in their own homes rather than them having to come to me. There's hundreds and hundreds. This list could go on forever. There's absolutely loads of stuff, but unfortunately, not possible. Rebecca's second question is, where is the first place you want to go when Robo Bitch is fixed? And probably Roker Park is where I'll go. It's not too far away, which means I'll get some time there. I haven't seen Jacob for ages, which is the resident swan there. And yeah, probably Roker Park is where I would go. And your third question and last question is, any summer plans? No, to be honest. I think other than to get out as much as I can whilst the weather is good, that is the only thing really. Hopefully everything will be fixed and sorted so I can do that, because otherwise, yeah, that'll be not good. But thank you for your questions, Rebecca. And then moving on to another Rebecca. So Rebecca Little, and she says, where do you see yourself in 10 years time? I don't really know. That's the thing. I don't really know. Like, hopefully, positively in further forward in my life in a positive way. But in 10 years' time, I'll be 56. And if they are ever going to do my knees, hopefully they'll have done them by then and I actually can walk again. But I'm not sure that is a thing that'll ever happen anymore, sadly. I hope to have lost more weight. I hope to still feel as positive about life. I hope to still be going out taking photographs. I hope to be happy, and that's the main thing really, isn't it? Being happy. I hope maybe to have gone on holiday by then. I hope maybe to have gone a bit further afield than I do currently. Yeah, that would be good. If I could find a way of having Robo Bitch with us but getting further afield, that would be amazing, because that's one thing I'd like to do a lot. It would also it would be nice to be able to work. I mean, I'd like to work now, but I'm so limited because obviously, you know, especially like say now, if I had to go to a job in the wheelchair, I'm buggered because it's out of action and there's no way I could, you know, companies are not going to sort of do that. Also, because I have medical needs, then it's a struggle with, you know, what help I would get and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a hard one. Something I could do from home on the phone or whatever would be good. But a lot of them you need to go train somewhere. So, and then obviously if there's issues or if I'm in pain and I'm struggling, it makes things really complicated. But you never know. You never know what the future holds, dear. Your second question is, what are your goals and aspirations? I guess I've just kind of covered those a little bit. Obviously to walk, which I think I said in the last question. To walk again probably is the biggest thing, and then holiday and go further afield. I'd like to write a book. I've always said this, but then I just, you know, because my I've got good ideas, I think, and whatever, but when I put those down on paper, my brain goes ahead of my fingers and everything gets muddled up, and so it doesn't really make sense, so that I struggle with that, and it's probably what's put me off doing anything about it. But maybe if not writing a book, as in a fictional book, I do have a lot of poetry I could put in a book, so that could be something. And it would be cool to have it in print, really cool. So yeah, that's a good one. Mainly I just want to be happy, and just continue being like positive and continue doing what I'm doing, and hopefully, yeah, moving forward. Okay. Oh, if Rebecca's next question is, if you were a biscuit, which one would you be and why? If I was a biscuit, which one would I be and why? Da, 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 da. Oh, that's a good one. Something sweet, because I am sweet. Something with a little bit of chocolate. Something with some crunch and some snap and a bit of bite. I don't know what kind of biscuits. I think you can get chocolate lotus biscuits. I'll be one of them. I'll be a chocolate lotus biscuit. Lotus Biscoff biscuit. Biscoff lotus. Yeah, that one of them. That's what I'll choose. Either that or a hobnob. Chocolate hobnob. Yeah. Yeah. Why though? I don't know. Maybe just because I like them, but also because they've got a bit of snap, they've got a bit of stability, you know. If you dip one of them, one dip they're not gone type of thing in your tea, and I'm like, you know, not that I've ever been dipped in tea, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that works. 3 people you'd choose to invite to a dinner party. I am going to assume you mean celebs and alive ones. Then Stephen Fry, Louis Theroux, and Jason Momoa. There you go. It's a bit, you know, bit of intelligence and funny with Stephen, and intelligence and funny with Louis Theroux, I should say, and just a bit of eye candy from Jason. I'm sure he's got intelligence as well. Yes, he has. And hair and eyebrows. Anyway. And then your last question is favourite YouTuber. Well, favourite YouTuber. Now, I have a lot of favourites who I watch, but who are also my friends now. So like Nick and Andrea and Lex and Carla, etc. And quite a few others. So I'm not going to choose any of them because they're all my friends anyway. And I'm going to choose someone ooh, who can I choose out of the ones that people may not know? Plus, it also changes. It changes as well. Like, I watch. Well, I mean, not with like, you know, friends and stuff. I watch them all the time, but it changes with like other people, because you kind of go through phases of different people, I think. So I like watching Atomic Shrimp. He's really cool. He does he does all sorts of different things. He does I'm trying to think, taste testing on various foods. He does weird stuff in a can. He does like scam stuff. He does budgeting meals where you prepare I can't speak, prepares them from scratch. So he's definitely one to go and have a look at. So like he does weekend meals for like £3 or something for a weekend full of meals, and makes all sorts of weird concoctions and stuff like that. He also does foraging and stuff. I find it really interesting, and I really do like his voice as well. He's got a really kind of, I find, quite a soothing voice. So yeah, maybe one for you to check out if you don't watch him. Atomic Shrimp. Yeah, I'll just put the one. I don't need to give you loads to it anyway. But anyway, thank you, Rebecca, for your questions. And moving on to Cassie. So Cassie says, question: if you're on a boat with Ian and Susan, Ian is the tat doctor, Susan is Bad Wolf, and it was sinking, and you had to push one of them overboard, which would it be? Just stick them both hour. Yeah, you know, I'll just save myself. No, it's not real. I couldn't do that. I think we'd all end up sinking because I just couldn't choose. I couldn't pick one. So either we'd all end up sinking, or I could get them to do some sort of like, I tell you what, swim to there and back, and the first one back gets to get on back on the boat, and the last, obviously whoever's last doesn't. So maybe do something like that. But yeah, I couldn't put anyone overboard. So yeah, is that really? So it's not a good answer, is it? Hello. No. See, no, I can't choose. I can't pick because they're both my friends, you see. So I can't pick. How do you choose which friend? You know. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for your question, Cassie. So Jackie M says, once your tummy and gallbladder are mended, what would you do to treat yourself? Meaning, could you go on holiday perhaps? Unfortunately, no. Holidays. Yeah, I have so many things. So obviously, I'm in a wheelchair, and I have a hoist. I know a lot of people do have these things and do go on holiday with these things. But I can't like transfer into a car or transport. And there is no vehicle available to hire or whatever that could take me and Robo Bitch at the same time. Or if there isn't local to me, because I have Googled it beyond belief. And also in terms of when you get to these places, a lot of them, they wouldn't have the things that I needed. And I did look into it once ages ago, and looked at like disabled holidays and stuff. But not only would I have the issues of getting there, which, you know, like I said, is impossible, but even if I could get there, my hoist is specialised, it's fixed up. My mattress is specialised. Yeah, I can't ever see it being a possibility, sad as that sounds. And I really wish I could, but life, isn't it? You just have to, yeah, not dwell on the things you can't do or can't have, I guess is the words. But thank you for your question, Jackie. Okay, moving on to May. So May's question is, what work did you do when you left school, and did you enjoy the job? So I did a few jobs when I left school. I worked in a shop. It was through what was called a YTS scheme, a youth training scheme at the time. And I didn't enjoy it. The lady who owned the shop liked to have lots of liquid lunches, and she liked to leave me in charge, and I was only there about a month, I think, and I think I was only there about 3 days when she first completely disappeared on me, and I was 16 in charge of a shop completely by myself. So yeah, didn't really enjoy that. I liked the job itself. I just didn't like the fact that she put all that responsibility on me, and then I think after sort of she started to hand me the keys to open up and stuff, and it was just too much pressure at 16, I think. But I did like the job itself, but like I said, just that side of it. That was my first one anyway. And then you said, how many children do you have, and how many grandchildren are in the family? So I have 2 children. I have David, who's 28, and I have Laura, who's 26. Neither of them have kids, so I don't have any grandchildren, and I don't think either of them want children, which is perfectly fine. But you never know what might happen in the future, so I'm not sure if I'll have any grandchildren. My brother does have a grandson. My sister doesn't have grandchildren either. So in the family itself, just my brother's a granddad, and I'm a great auntie, which I've always been, obviously, because I'm great. Yeah. Next question from me is, at what age did you start having health issues? Probably, like, I've always had issues with my stomach. I remember as a child going to the doctors, I had a lot of issues with my stomach and a lot of issues with my ears. When I was a child, they used to just said I had a lazy bowel. That was what the doctor said. Obviously, they've now diagnosed us with IBS, but as a child, I was always just told, oh, you've got a lazy bowel. Yeah, I always had issues with my ears. I had a lot of earache. I am actually partially deaf, a little bit, and I was supposed to wear hearing aids, but when I was younger, they were just so horrible and so obvious. And they're really cool now. From my niece got some, and yeah. But I've never gone back to sort of look into it. But I don't think I'm deaf enough that it's an issue, if that makes sense. And then obviously from then on, probably my mental health issues started then, but obviously I didn't realise. And then I had issues around food that started from about 10. And I didn't realise, any of those things were mental health issues. As we move on to physical health, I mean, lipedema is something that happens usually at like puberty. So, and I do recall, I mean, I wasn't diagnosed with lipedema until about 2 years ago, or less than that, actually, possibly maybe 18 months ago. No, maybe more. I'm not sure anyway. But I wasn't actually diagnosed with it until then. Maybe a couple of years ago. But I always had sort of thicker thighs and hips, and like a smaller waist, and I hated my legs when I was younger, because they were always, well, I thought they were huge, and I used to think I was huge as a person, even when I was a size 14. And I remember thinking I was this monster, and as big as I am now, and just this horrible blob of nothingness. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, my mental health and my physical appearance had a massive effect on me, and that the fact that my physical appearance affected me also made me think that my self as a person wasn't very good either, and it all sort of crossed over. But yeah, so yeah, so like I said, diagnosis for lipedema didn't come until I was about 43, 44, whatever, and I was diagnosed with lymphedema before, which is quite common for doctors to do that with lipedema. Although I do think that I do have lymphedema worse in one side than the other, and lymphedema is due to, so lipedema, if you don't know, is due to where the body places fat in the wrong place, places your fat cells in the wrong place, and it places it between the skin layers instead of underneath, and therefore it causes a lot of issues in terms of it's really hard to lose that fat. Diets alone won't get rid of that fat because it sort of stays there, and it causes a lot of inflammation and fluid and all of that kind of thing, and it causes pain and stuff like that. And then lymphedema, which is caused by so you've got a lymphatic system, which is what drains the fluid, and it pushes the fluid around your body, and if any, you've got little lymph node things that are in various points on your body, and if any of those get damaged, they can then cause a fluid buildup. And so I have what's known as like lymph, something like that. They probably put the two together, but yeah. So I was diagnosed with lymphedema probably about 10 years plus ago, but I'd had lymphedema since I was went through puberty, and just didn't realise, you know what I mean, because like it wasn't really known, and it still isn't really known. They're just doing more and more things. It's trying to get it more publicly recognised. Also, what else? So yeah, IBS, which is now diagnosed. Obviously, my gallbladder issues. My gallbladder issues probably started about I was in hospital about 5 years ago for about 6 months, and I had gallstones then. I didn't really get any pain from them till about 2 years later, and I didn't know I had them because no one had told me. I was getting scanned for various things because I've got this like odd shaped lump, like rugby ball shaped lump in my stomach. No one could. I thought it was a hernia. My GP had said it was a hernia. Not that he really examined us, because he's not very good at stuff like that. And I thought it was a hernia because that's, you know, what you hear of. Anyway, I had various scans when I was in the hospital, and they couldn't see anything. But they checked everywhere, and obviously when they were checking everywhere, they must have checked my gallbladder and everything, and that's when they'd seen that I had 4 stones in there, which, like I said, two years later I went in the hospital with severe stomach pains, and that was then that I found out that I had gallstones. And yeah, so that I'm getting my gallbladder removed next month, so hopefully that'll be sorted. I've got underactive thyroid, and that wasn't diagnosed till I was 30, and they said that it had obviously played a part. By the time it was diagnosed, I was really badly losing my hair. My memory was absolutely terrible, and I do recall phoning my mum and crying my eyes out because I'd had a phone call from someone, knew I'd had a phone call from someone knew it was female, but I couldn't remember who it was and why. And these were all symptoms of the underactive thyroid. Yeah, and obviously I've been on thyroxine ever since. And she said it will have played a part within my weight gain, but not like obviously all of it. But I knew most of that was mental health related. And the other thing is arthritis. I have severe osteoarthritis in my knees. I probably have them in a few places, but the only one that's been ever tested is my knees. It's what's it called? They tested me for all sorts of things. They did an examination and they said that usually when someone of my age has arthritis, they have it in like one little part on their knee. So it could be a little bit at the back, could be a little bit at the front, a little bit at the side, whatever. So she said, after doing my x-rays and whatever, she said my knees were absolutely shot, in the sense of it was everywhere. Always round. So hence why I can't walk. I've tried a few times to build my walking back up, but it's just not succeeded fully. I think I've gone totally off thing. When did you start having health issues? So yeah, I think that's about everything. I think. Sorry if I'm just waffling. I'm really bad at that. Next question is from me is, were you good at art at school, and what subjects were your favourite? No, I wasn't good at art at school. I couldn't draw, and I used to muck about, to be honest, because I wasn't very good at it and I wasn't very interested in it at the time. And struggle when I'm not very interested in when I'm not very good at something or whatever. I struggle then to do it. And I remember once we used to do, where you did still life and you draw the vase with the flowers in on the table or whatever. And I was never very good. And like I said, this one time everyone was off, like who I used to sit with, so I couldn't just sit and chat and whatnot. So I actually did this picture of a tree, and I was really proud of myself by it, and I was really chuffed with it. And I went to take it to the teacher to show her, and she didn't believe I did it, and so I got punished instead. So yeah, that wasn't good, and I was absolutely devastated because this picture of this tree was really good, and I was gutted. I never really bothered again after that, I don't think. So subjects that were my favourite when I was in up until I was in the first and second year, we used to do classics, which was like learning about like Greek mythology and stuff, and I actually really enjoyed that at the time. I quite liked science. I quite liked English, but I always struggled with the written bit, if that. I used to like cookery, but I didn't really like the theory side of it. Just the cooking. But then during the cooking side of it, I exploded an apple. Yeah. So yeah. I exploded an apple because I forgot to prick it, and I had to stay behind to clean the oven. But not only did I have to clean my oven, I had to clean all the bloody ovens. It's shocking how they get kids to do that, It's just like, alright, I made a mess in mine, but you might as do them all, so that's not fair. But anyway, it's because she said I should have listened. But I was just so excited about doing me baked apple. I wasn't, like, it was all full of raisins and crap that I wouldn't have wanted it anyway. So maybe it was a good job it exploded. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. There's still a few more questions from me. This is going to turn into a 3-part one. It's just that I'm already on 30 minutes or whatever. By the time I edit it down, I don't want it to be too long. So I will do a part 3 now, which obviously you'll see when it comes out. But thank you to me for our questions so far, and as I said, I will continue on with the rest of them on the next one. Yeah, I will put a video, I'll get it right in a minute, I'll put a video up here of something else that you might want to watch. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you next time. Bye bye now. Bye bye.